Level 1, minus $4,200. You are 23 and your net worth is negative $4,200. Not because you were reckless, because you went to school, and school cost money you didn't have. And now you have a job that pays $19 an hour and a loan payment that arrives on the 3rd of every month like a tax on having tried to improve your situation. Your lifestyle at this level has a specific texture. You check your account balance before you check the weather. You know, without calculating, exactly how many days until payday, because the number lives in your body the way a heartbeat does. Groceries are a math problem you solve in the aisle. Not, what do I want, but what gets me through the week for the least amount possible. You put the good coffee back. You always put the good coffee back. The lifestyle is not dramatic poverty. You have a roof, a car that mostly runs, a phone, but every decision carries a second, quieter decision underneath it. Can I actually afford this? Or am I borrowing from a version of myself 3 weeks from now who is already stretched thin? You say yes to free things. You say no to almost everything else. And you've gotten so good at saying no that it barely registers as a sacrifice anymore. Level 2, $12,000. You are 26. Your net worth crosses $12,000 for the first time. The debt paid down, a small cushion finally building underneath you. The lifestyle shift here is almost entirely internal. Nothing about your apartment changes. Your car is the same car, but something in your chest loosens slightly. A muscle you didn't know had been clenched for 3 years. You buy the good coffee. Not every time, but sometimes. And the sometimes feels enormous. You still check your account, but the checking has changed character. It used to be a countdown to disaster. Now it's closer to a habit, something between curiosity and reassurance. You have $12,000, which means a car repair doesn't end the month. A dentist bill doesn't become a crisis. The lifestyle at this level is defined less by what you buy and more by what stops being an emergency. You still say no to most things, but the no comes from a place of choice now, not from a place of pure survival. And that distinction, even though nobody watching your life from the outside could tell the difference, changes everything about how the no feels from the inside. Level 3, $50,000. You are 29, $50,000. Most of it in a retirement account you rarely think about, some of it in savings you've started calling, privately, your real emergency fund. The lifestyle here has a name most people don't use for it: quiet competence. You are not rich. Nobody looking at your car or your apartment would guess the number. But you have started making a specific kind of decision you couldn't make 3 years ago. The decision to spend money on your future self without flinching. You max out a small employer 401k match instead of taking the extra $80 a paycheck. You don't feel that $80 leave because you never let yourself see it arrive. Your friends start asking you for advice, which surprises you because you don't feel like an expert. You just stopped panicking about money long enough to make a few boring, correct decisions and let them run. You still eat at home most nights. You still drive the same car. Level 4, $150,000. Here the lifestyle starts to show a little, though not in the way movies suggest. You don't buy a boat. You buy a slightly better mattress and don't feel guilty about it. You take a trip that costs more than you would have allowed yourself 5 years ago, and you don't spend the whole trip doing math in your head about whether you can afford it. You already did the math beforehand, and the answer was yes. So you actually get to be present in Rome instead of anxious in Rome. You upgrade your car, but you buy it used and pay cash. And the version of you from level 1 would not recognize how little emotional weight that decision carries now. It used to be that every purchase this size required weeks of internal negotiation. Now it requires a spreadsheet check in 20 minutes. The real lifestyle shift at $150,000 is optionality. You could leave your job if it became unbearable. You probably wouldn't, but the fact that you could changes how you sit in meetings, how you speak to your manager, how much of yourself you're willing to compromise to keep a paycheck you no longer desperately need. Level 5, $500,000. The lifestyle at this level is defined by a strange kind of invisibility. You don't look wealthy. You drive a practical car. You live in a normal house in a normal neighborhood, but your relationship to money has completely inverted from level 1. You no longer think about what you can't afford. You say yes to things you would have refused at level 2, not because you have unlimited money, but because $500,000 buys a specific kind of margin, the margin to make a mediocre decision without it derailing your life. You invest in a friend's small business, not recklessly, just comfortably, the way you might have loaned someone $40 a decade earlier. The number is different. The feeling of ease is exactly the same, just scaled. You still clip the occasional coupon. Old habits from level 1 don't fully disappear, they just stop being load-bearing. Level 6, $1,700,000. The lifestyle here is almost anticlimactic, which surprises you more than anything else on this list. You expected the millionaire threshold to feel like something. It mostly feels like a Tuesday, with slightly better math behind it. Your house is paid off, or close to it. Your kid's education is funded, or on track to be. The daily texture of your life, the coffee, the commute, the dinner table, looks almost identical to level 4. What's actually changed is the shape of your fear. You used to worry about running out of money before the end of the month. Now, on the rare occasion you worry about money at all, it's about running out of decades before the compounding finishes doing what it's going to do. You take the trip without checking the spreadsheet first. Not because you've become careless, because you already know the answer, and asking the question again would just be anxiety wearing the costume of diligence. Level 7, $6 million and beyond. At this level, the lifestyle shift is not about what you can buy, it's about what you no longer have to think about at all. Money has moved from being a subject you actively manage to being infrastructure. You spend more mental energy deciding what to cook for dinner than you do worrying about your net worth. You give money away now, deliberately, to causes and people you care about. You still drive a practical car. Old habits, again, don't disappear. They just become choices instead of constraints. Every level in this story was the same person. Not a different personality at $6 million than at negative $4,200. The same instincts, the same relationship with a good cup of coffee, the same quiet discomfort with waste. What changed, level by level, was never who you were. It was how much margin existed between your choices and your survival. You don't need to reach level 7 for your lifestyle to change. The biggest shift in this entire story, the loosening in your chest, the coffee you stop putting back, happens between level 1 and level 2, on $12,000 unremarkable dollars that will never make anyone's highlight reel. Start there. The rest of the levels take care of themselves, slowly, the same way they did for the person in this story, one Tuesday at a time. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.